Hi, my name is Kimberly and I'm going to show you programming. So here's our control station here. We have 3 joysticks and 1 computer. Each joystick has a different purpose. These 2 joysticks are for driving and different functions that go along with driving. This joystick here is for shooting and using the arm to climb the pyramid. Over here we have very few buttons to press. It's mostly just the Y-axis to control the motor wheels. The buttons we do use are the 3 buttons, which reduce it to half speed, as well as the trigger buttons here that invert the controls. On the shooter joystick, it's much more complicated. We use all buttons up top for different speed settings for the shooter, as well as the trigger mechanism for the kicker. We also use these 2 buttons for speed settings. Back to the drive wheels, we use these 2 for very accurate, fine controls. These 2 are for turning, these 2 for back and forth.
Attention in pits.
What we mainly use during competition is called driver station. This tells us basically everything we need to know about the robot during the time period.
Their vehicle must be out.
Behind it I have the program open, and it's somewhere in the range of 300 lines.
With the vehicle.
Sorry?
Language.
We're using C++ to program. Basically this area here is where we assign everything a name and we tell it where to find that item. Right here is autonomous. This is what we use during the first 15 seconds of a match. Then below that we have all the teleop stuff. So here it tells it what buttons to use for everything, and it goes on for quite a bit of time before it ends, and it has a wait here to loop. But that's basically it to the program. There's not much to it.
Tell them about those lights and what these buttons do.
So these 3 lights tell us whether or not we're connected to the robot and whether or not it has joysticks attached. So right now, since the robot isn't on, it's telling me that it's not connecting to the robot, it can't communicate with it. But since the joysticks are attached, it's telling me that the joysticks are in.
What about teleop and autonomous in practice?
Whenever we're testing the robot, we use these 4 actually. Basically, this allows us to manually control the robot. Teleop. Autonomous automatically runs the autonomous program that we have set, which we actually have 4 because of some nice switches that we made. These 2 allow us to see how it do in the actual 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the match. And over here we have the elapsed time, PC battery, and what station we're going to be at.
And robot voltage is over there.
Also robot voltage, not the most accurate thing in the world.
What about that button?
We don't press it, or at least we don't like to press it unless there's some kind of emergency. It automatically kills the robot, it turns off everything, and then we have to restart the whole robot, which takes a long time.
And then take a look at the switches you mentioned.
Over here we have our program switches, which allow us to have 4 autonomous programs. So basically it starts in both are off, then we can cycle through 1 off, 1 on, both on, and opposite. It's really nice because we can have multiple programs depending on where we need to be on the field.